Hi guys, I'm Tom, and today we're going to find out who Beetlejuice is. One of the most eccentric, charismatic, and slightly terrifying characters we've ever seen in the horror genre, and specifically in the subgenre of comedic horror, is Beetlejuice. This peculiar and grotesque ghost serves as the main antagonist of the movie of the same name, directed by Tim Burton and starring Michael Keaton. Beetlejuice is a complex character because despite his sarcastic and deceitful attitude, he actually has rather dark and tragic origins. These are only revealed in the original script of the movie and in various interviews Tim Burton gave during the release of the sequel. In Beetlejuice 2, we finally discover the true origin of this character, along with more information about this mysterious super ghost. Because of his charisma and humor, the entertaining nature of his movie, and his vast and unique supernatural abilities, Beetlejuice is considered one of the most iconic characters in the horror genre and one of the most mysterious. Therefore, in this video, I will thoroughly explain Beetlejuice's origins as revealed in the original script. I'll then analyze his physical appearance, what we know about his personality and behavior, as well as his incredible abilities and known weaknesses. Additionally, I'll explore the new information unveiled in the sequel. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I recommend watching it first and then coming back to this video as it contains spoilers for the new film. Besides, it's a really good and highly entertaining movie. Well, without further ado, let's begin. Beetlejuice is a mischievous and deceptive ghost who serves as a secondary protagonist and an anti-hero in his movie. He is one of the many characters created by the legendary director and artist Tim Burton and is widely recognized for his personality and iconic appearance. The story of Beetlejuice is both fascinating and mysterious, beginning long before the events depicted in the movie. According to the original script of the film, it is revealed that Beetlejuice was originally a student at Juilliard University and eventually graduated from Harvard Business School. During his life, he traveled extensively, achievements he considered very important. This is why, in the movie, he mentions these details humorously. Beetlejuice also claims to be an ancient ghost who lived during the Black Plague and greatly enjoyed those times. Additionally, he states that he has watched The Exorcist 167 times and finds it funnier with each viewing. However, due to his deceitful nature, it's unclear whether these claims are true or if he simply makes them up to exaggerate his image. What we do know for sure is that Beetlejuice was an assistant to Juno, the caseworker in the Afterlife, but was fired due to his bad behavior. Juno mentions this to the Maitland family when speaking with them. Interestingly, it's implied that Beetlejuice worked as Juno's assistant while he was still alive, serving as a kind of civil servant in the world of the dead. Additionally, the original script suggests that Beetlejuice took his own life by hanging himself over a woman while he was still human. However, this explanation was removed from the original movie as it was deemed too dark and didn't fit the comedic and family-friendly tone of the film. In the fictional universe of Beetlejuice, now confirmed in its sequel, it's established that those who take their own lives must work in the afterlife as caseworkers. For example, Miss Argentina, who took her own life by slitting her wrists, or Juno, who appears to have strangled herself. This is the primary reason why Beetlejuice served as Juno's assistant before being fired. In the original unfilmed story, Beetlejuice took his own life after suffering heartbreak and becoming drunk. But now, with the excellent Beetlejuice 2, his true origin is revealed. This ties back to a detail he mentions to the Maitlands in the first film. His claim that he studied at Juilliard and Harvard is entirely false. However, it is true that he lived during the Black Plague in 1350. Beetlejuice, in life, was a man who made his living as a grave robber or scavenger. His occupation involved stripping the corpses of people infected by the Black Plague of their jewelry, gold, and other valuables. From what we see in the second movie, it seems he lived in Italy during that era. On an unfortunate day, he crossed paths with a mysterious and beautiful woman named Dolores, with whom he fell deeply in love. It is implied that this woman bewitched him in some way, causing him to fall instantly and intensely in love with her. Additionally, it is suggested that Dolores was some sort of witch. Shortly after meeting her, Beetlejuice and Dolores were married in a ceremony that, according to Beetlejuice, was very traditional. However, this wasn't entirely true, as the ritual included drinking each other's blood, biting off a chicken's head, and sacrificing a goat. This proves that it was quite a strange ceremony. According to Beetlejuice, on their wedding night, they consummated their love and fully enjoyed carnal pleasures. But all of this turned out to be a trap. Dolores was the leader of a deadly cult that stole the souls of its victims and consumed them to achieve immortality. As part of her ritual, Dolores gave Beetlejuice poisoned wine as she needed to kill him to steal his soul. Realizing what was happening, Beetlejuice used his last strength before dying to grab an axe and brutally murder Dolores, chopping her into pieces. However, by drinking the poisoned wine, he unknowingly ended his own life. Because of this, Beetlejuice was forced to work as Juno's assistant in the afterlife. Later, due to being overly annoying and displaying inappropriate behavior, he was completely expelled from his position as a caseworker. That was when he decided to become a bioexorcist, someone who helps ghosts expel the living from their homes or properties. Therefore, we can conclude that Beetlejuice is at least 600 to 700 years old. This makes him a very ancient character with vast knowledge about the afterlife and the living world. However, he pretends to have studied at Harvard or Juilliard, which is untrue. Additionally, it seems that because he ended his own life, he is cursed and has become a super ghost or some kind of demon. This curse forces him to appear whenever someone says his name 3 times. This is also why he wanted to marry Lydia, aside from the fact that he was evidently quite fond of her. If he managed to marry a living person, he could break his curse, gain more freedom, and enhance his powers. The name Beetlejuice was given by screenwriter Michael McDowell, who was originally working on a script for a horror and mystery film. McDowell created a character who would be a demon capable of shapeshifting at will to terrorize his victims and amuse himself while doing so. The character's original name was Betelgeuse, inspired by a distant star located in the Orion constellation, as McDowell thought this name sounded mysterious and terrifying. When Tim Burton and Warner Bros. Acquired the script, Burton, with the help of another screenwriter, transformed the story into something more fun and comedic. He significantly altered the character, turning him into an extravagant, memorable ghost with a tragicomic backstory. While the original name Beetlejuice was retained, Warner executives and producers suggested changing it to Beetlejuice, as it would be easier for audiences to remember and market. To reinforce the name, Burton included scenes where Beetlejuice eats insects, implying that he likes beetles, which also serves as a joke for the audience. Beetlejuice is a unique ghost who causes a lot of trouble due to his carefree attitude. As a bioexorcist, he offers his services to other ghosts to get rid of the living who invade certain places. Ironically, instead of being a ghostbuster, he's a living buster who terrorizes people until they leave. Beetlejuice promoted his services through absurd advertisements and publicity, including business cards and flyers, which convinced the Maitland family to hire him. This family, already deceased, was bound to their house due to the bureaucracy of the afterlife, forcing them to stay there for 123 years before they could move on to the world of the dead. When the Dietz family moved into the Maitlands' house, the Maitlands tried to scare them away but failed. Desperate, they decided to hire Beetlejuice. However, the super ghost terrified the Dietz family in brutal ways, as he not only scared them but could even physically harm them. Additionally, he planned to marry Lydia, the young daughter of the Dietz family, to escape the afterlife and gain more power to wreak havoc in the world of the living. Fortunately, by saying his name 3 times, the Dietz family managed to send him back to the afterlife, where he became trapped in the waiting line of that realm, as seen at the end of the movie. Now that we have thoroughly covered the origins and backstory of Beetlejuice, I want to talk about the super ghost's physical appearance, what we know about his personality and behavior, and explain his known abilities and weaknesses. First of all, Beetlejuice is a dead man who enjoys eating insects like beetles, which is where his name originates. He looks like a man with very pale skin, sometimes appearing grayish. He has an average height and appears slightly overweight, with a noticeable belly. His hair is somewhat long and very messy with a green color. Due to his pronounced receding hairline, he sometimes looks like he is wearing a wig. He has bulging, fairly large eyes that seem to be surrounded by purplish rings which at times appear black, encircling his eyelids completely. Interestingly, Beetlejuice has greenish spots on his face and neck that resemble decomposing flesh, giving him a more terrifying zombie-like appearance. He typically wears a white suit with iconic black stripes, along with a white shirt and a black tie. He also sports black boots. Although this is his main outfit, he occasionally wears different clothes for special occasions, such as when he attempts to marry Lydia. Beetlejuice is a very rude, perverted, and vulgar ghost. He often acts erratically and seems like a deranged spirit. While his behavior in the movie is funny and entertaining, it's clear that he's not a good person and would be unpleasant to deal with regularly. He frequently invades people's personal space, getting uncomfortably close and touching them constantly. He also does unpleasant things like spitting on his own clothes and making rude hand gestures. Additionally, he seems to enjoy scaring people in brutal ways, playing cruel pranks, and causing various types of mischief. Beetlejuice is very selfish, as his goal in the movie is to break his curse and escape the world of the dead. He acquired this curse because he ended his own life. Throughout the film, he relentlessly pursues his objective, not caring who he harms in the process. He generally behaves like an annoying salesperson who refuses to take no for an answer when offering his services. While it's never hidden that Beetlejuice is unpleasant, the protagonists who summon him in the movie perceive him as a sort of demon, especially when he manifests and behaves brutally. Despite his malevolent attitude and nature, Beetlejuice acts as a chaotic force that ends up opposing a group of living humans who are villains from the Maitland's perspective. Ironically, Beetlejuice doesn't hesitate to be rude, annoying, and even hostile toward the Maitlands, who summoned and hired him to help them. Interestingly, he shows significant interest in Lydia, the young daughter of the Dietz family. For much of the movie, he tries to force her into marrying him to fulfill his contract and free himself from the world of the dead. Although the Maitlands successfully stop him and return him to the afterlife, it's unclear whether he wanted to marry Lydia solely to break his curse, or if he also genuinely liked her, as he is a highly perverted ghost. Beetlejuice possesses some impressive abilities that make him a powerful, bothersome, and hard-to-defeat entity. First, as a ghost, he is immortal and invulnerable, as he doesn't seem to be physically harmed or experience pain. He can also possess people and communicate through them in eerie ways, though he usually uses this ability to scare rather than harm. In addition, he appears to have telekinetic powers, as he can move objects with his mind at will. He has a curious ability that allows him to mimic the voice of any person he chooses. This helps him efficiently deceive his victims. He also possesses the power of teleportation, enabling him to disappear and reappear at will in different locations. Notably, this ability also allows him to transport people along with objects, making it one of Beetlejuice's most powerful skills. Finally, his most important and terrifying ability is his power to alter reality at will. This enables him to scare his living victims in a brutal and effective manner. Additionally, he can shapeshift, allowing him to transform into whatever he desires. In the movie, for instance, he transforms into a snake. While it has been theorized that he can turn into any person, object, or monster, early drafts of the script planned for Beetlejuice to take on many different forms throughout the film. His true form was intended to be a terrifying demon with large wings, while the green-haired man would merely be one of his chosen appearances. Beetlejuice's only known weakness is having his name spoken 3 times. While this can summon him, it can also send him back to his realm or the world of the dead. Another interesting point is his ex-wife Dolores, who has the ability to consume souls entirely. This represents another weakness for Beetlejuice, as the sequel reveals that he is deeply afraid of Dolores and avoids confronting her directly because she is extremely dangerous. This suggests that she might be able to kill him permanently, just as she does with other ghosts and dead beings in the afterlife. It's worth mentioning that in the Beetlejuice animated series, the character is portrayed as slightly more heroic and less dishonest or deceitful. Although he remains somewhat selfish, the people in the world of the dead view him as a nuisance or a plague because of his annoying personality. In the series, his relationship with Lydia is also different. Instead of wanting to marry her, he acts more like a crazy and fun uncle to her. In addition to his physical appearance and the fact that Beetlejuice was originally envisioned as a demon instead of a ghost, the original screenplay for the movie was much darker and more sinister. For example, the way the Maitland family died was initially far more graphic and grotesque. Barbara's arm would have been crushed, and the couple would have drowned in their car after falling into the river, instead of simply dying after the crash. Moreover, instead of making the Dietz family dance during dinner, Beetlejuice was supposed to possess a large rug that would attack them. His mission in the original script wasn't to scare the family, but to kill them. In this early draft, he couldn't be controlled by saying his name 3 times, nor could he be summoned. Instead, he was a demon who roamed the world freely, tormenting anyone he wanted. Additionally, instead of being sent back to the world of the dead, the Dietz and Maitland families would have destroyed him with an exorcism and sent him to hell. Fortunately, the movie's producers and Tim Burton decided to rewrite the original script. I believe this was an excellent decision because the movie is far better as a family-friendly comedy. I think the humor and charisma of the character are the main reasons for its overwhelming success. A fun fact is that Beetlejuice's real name is Betelgeuse, the name of an actual star. However, due to the difficulty of pronouncing this word in English, it was changed to Beetlejuice. This is a topic of debate among fans of the movie and the character. And that's everything we know about Beetlejuice. Honestly, I think he's one of the most curious and bizarre characters in horror cinema. While I don't particularly like his attitude and behavior, I believe these traits, along with his physical appearance, are what make him so memorable. Overall, he's one of the most iconic and entertaining characters in horror movies. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I highly recommend it. It's very entertaining, with a touch of comedy, some horror, and a few awesome creatures. But tell me, what do you think? Did you know about Beetlejuice? Were you familiar with his story and the origins of the original script? Lastly, do you like Beetlejuice, or do you think he's too annoying? Comment your answers to these questions and share your overall opinion about this Tim Burton character. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and share it to support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of my new videos.